guys, what is up? My name is Megan and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. And welcome to the annual mid-year book freakout tag, which takes Booktube by storm. I am so excited for this. I just love the mid-year book freakout tag because I get to watch a bunch of creators' videos, get to know what the books are, like what I should be reading, what is coming out, where everybody is at in their headspace with reading. And I also love being able to look back at my reading with this tag because I haven't done it for previous years. I will leave those that are still up on my channel in the description if you want to compare how my reading has been this year to years prior. I will also leave the questions in the description for you guys if you want to answer them in the comments, or if any of you are looking for them to create your own video. Obviously, I am not the original creator of this tag. I believe this tag was first created for a blog and then turned into content for Booktube. So, without further ado, let's hop on in. Question number 1 is the best book you've read so far this year. I feel like it's a tough question because I have a few solid 5-star reads, but I have to go with The Mistwick School of Musicraft by Jessica Corey. This is the first book in a middle grade series that I have a full review up on my channel, and it is basically about a young girl named Amelia, I believe is her name. Why am I blanking? Yes, Amelia Jones. And Amelia wants to get into this academy that is related to music because her mother was there before, and also because it means that if you get accepted, you are one of the greatest young musicians in the world. What is key to know is that in this world, music is magic, and therefore when you are great at a music skill, you are great at magic, and that obviously opens a lot of doors. And we follow our character through her journey to get into that school, and then also what happens when she's there. Obviously, she is not liked by everybody because her reasons for actually attending the school are a little bit questionable, but she ends up going on this great adventure and reconnecting to her roots and building something for herself while making friends and learning about this school. I loved everything about this. This was a solid 5 out of 5 stars, and if you want to hear more, I highly recommend you checking out my review because I talked about this book for 9 minutes straight. Moving on to question number 2. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far this year. I'm not a big series girly. I read a lot of middle grade and romance, though middle grade do tend to have a lot more sequels. My answer obviously has to be the last book in the Pages & Co. series by Anna James, which it breaks my heart that this series is over because I have read all 6 books and I am fully invested in these characters' lives. However, I know other great things are coming. She has a new book that is middle grade that is coming out this year, so we still get the Anna James fix, but not with Tilly and Oscar and all of the wonderful characters we meet throughout this. If you have not heard me talk about Pages & Co., first of all, you must be new to my channel, so hello. Pages & Co. is a middle grade series that follows Tilly, who is a book wanderer, and what that means is that she can go into bring book characters out into the world. In the first book, Tilly learns about her ability and also is on a quest to find her mother, which is missing, and from there the series expands. So the series is technically 2 blocks of 3 books. The first follows Tilly and her best friend, and then we meet more characters along the way, and the last 3 books kind of more so follow the other characters we meet's arc, but we still get to see Tilly and all of them. And honestly, this series for me is obviously a favorite. I'm so happy to have discovered this thanks to Booktube, and yeah, I'm really happy I got to read the final installment. A lot of people do say it is very similar to Inkheart, which I should be reading very soon, but if you read Inkheart and are looking for something else, I guess Pages & Co. is their recommendation for you. Moving on to question number 3. Question number 3 is book releases that came out in 2024 that you still haven't read yet, but obviously you want to. And for that, I'm really shocked to say one is the Skandar releases. I need to read book 2 and 3 to catch up for book 4's release. If you don't know, Skandar is a middle grade series that follows main protagonist who lives in a world where unicorns are like very commonly known. Some are bred and like tamed and like people are unicorn riders, others are like wild and dangerous, and we follow a main character who goes to this like unicorn school to learn to be a unicorn rider and like where they bond with unicorns. It is very reminiscent of like Harry Potter and a lot of fantastic middle grade books. I love Skandar. It's become like my favorite middle grade series. I will leave my review for it in the cards if you want to hear more about it. And the other obvious answer is the Ali Hazelwood releases. I have yet to read Bride or Not in Love. Not in Love is like her 4th book in the 7 series, and Bride is kind of like a different kind of romance. Why am I blanking? Paranormal romance, I guess, would be the right word to describe it. So I still need to read both. Unfortunately, I'm not quick enough this year. The 4th question is most anticipated releases for the year, and for that I obviously have a lot, but we're gonna go through 4. One is Skandar book 4, because in a shocking turn of events, A.F. Stedman has actually been like ahead in her planning of these Skandar books and the writing of them, and so book 4 is ready to go for October. So it is insane to me that we get 2 books from this series in 1 year. I am also hosting a read-along for them to get ready for book 4's release. I will have a video announcement up very soon if it's not up already. If it is, I'll leave it in the cards. So, extremely excited about that release. I also have Enemies to Lovers, which is a romance that I believe is coming out in August. And I am not reading a lot of traditionally published romances as of yet this year. I'm more in an indie published vibe, but this one looks amazing. It sounds divine. It's literally like Enemies to Lovers, and I am obsessed. I cannot wait. I also have the Chronicles of Whether Why, which is this queen, Anna James' newest middle grade release. I know nothing about it, but 1, the cover is stunning and intriguing, and 2, it's Anna James. I'm obviously going to read it. And the last book, no, that's not true. There's actually 2 more that I'm really excited for. One is Amari and the Night Brothers book 3. We know how I feel about Amari. And there's also The Life Impossible by Matt Haig, which is also coming out this year, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Again, I believe it is an August release. So most of these books are coming out in the upcoming months. Like, I don't have to wait till December. There is Silverborn, but honestly, that book probably going to be pushed back again. So I'm not too hopeful. Moving on to question number 5. Question number 5 is biggest disappointment, and for that I have to say it is The Witch Artemist, which is a manga I read this year, and I was really hopeful I was going to enjoy it. However, I did not really understand the plot line. I think things were rushed. I did not love the characters. I didn't love the plot. I just had greater expectations than what it delivered. Obviously, I know it's 1 volume of manga, but it was not enough to like get me hooked and want to read more. So I just dropped that series, which is unfortunate because again, had high hopes. But like, I know a lot of people enjoy this. It's not for me. It was not for me on my journey to manga. And I'm realizing maybe that kind of like fantasy manga is not the way to go for me. I'm more of like a sports and romance manga girly. So we live and we learn, you know? It's a disappointment, but also a lesson. We gotta see it positively. Question number 6 is biggest surprise, and in the same vein, we're going with manga, and I think the greatest surprise of my life is that I actually enjoy manga, specifically the Blue Lock series. If you've been along like for my channel for the ride, I was gonna say, if you've been along for the ride, if you've been on my channel before this year, especially on live shows when I was binging the Blue Lock series, you would know how obsessed I became with it. Someone actually gifted me 2 volumes for my birthday, and I thought I was gonna like fall off my chair and cry. It is a soccer manga series, and one, I don't like soccer, so I was like going into it with like low expectations. Blew me out of the water. It's kind of like Squid Games meets soccer, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I have read, I think, up to volume 7 or 8 now, and the series is like slowly trickling out in English, so I need to catch up because I've slowly like stopped reading it because I'm like afraid that I'm gonna catch up and then have nothing to read. But either way, extremely excited that I fell in love with the manga series as much as I did Blue Lock. I love the characters, I love the anime, I love all of it. It's become part of my life, and I'm really, really happy that I was surprised by how much I loved it. The next question is new favorite author. That could be debut or new to you. For that, I have 2 answers. One, Rebecca Janschak. I talked about this in my TBR video, but I have become like obsessed with her since I read Tutoring the Player. I have like been buying all her special editions, collecting all her books. I just know this author is gonna like hit it out of the park for me every single time. It's just the way she writes characters makes me it reminds me of when I was 16 and browsing in a bookstore for that one book that was gonna hit and like make you obsessed and want to read until 3 a.m. and make you feel all giddy inside. That's how I feel when I read her books. Similarly, Stephanie Archer, I read That Kind of Guy, and I'm currently reading The Wrong Mr. Right. I'm obsessed with her characters, her small town. She is Canadian, and it shines through her work, and I could not ask for more bingeable, fun romances with great protagonists and lovely settings. Obsessed with both of them. I will be skipping over newest fictional crush and newest favorite character because I don't really have an answer, and I'm not going to answer just for the sake of answering. So moving on to a book that made you cry or saddest book you've read. For me, that is Stella by McCall Hoyle, who is, again, one of my favorite authors. I love her YA stuff, and I now love her middle grade. Stella is the story of a beagle who used to work at the airport, however, as a bomb sniffer. However, a bomb went off and actually killed her handler, and she is now suffering from like PTSD and anxiety. And so she's been like, people have been trying to foster her. It never works out. She is a very high need dog, and at first in the story she kind of like gets rejected from another home, and we follow Stella, so we follow the point of view of the dog, and like the book starts when she gets kicked out of another foster home, and she like all she wants is to go back to her handler because she doesn't really understand that her handler is dead. And she ends up in this family which completely changed her life around, but Stella also changes their life around because she senses when the child in the family is sick, and then she finds her purpose again. And I sobbed so many times while reading and listening to that audiobook. If you have children and you want to explain to them like, I guess, the true purpose, like the purpose of a dog and a working dog and the bond between a dog and a human, it's beautiful. There are more books in the series and I want to get them all. They're on my like wish list of things to buy for sure. Love them. Love McCall Hoyle. All her books get me emotional, but that one really made me sob. Next question is a book that made you happy, and I touched on this book already, so I'm going to talk about it briefly. Tutoring the Player by Rebecca Janschak is the story of like this quiet wallflower girl and this jock and how they fall in love because like she ends up tutoring him. It's a classic story, tale as old as time. We'll eat it up every time. I was kicking my feet. I sat down on the couch and physically did not move until I was done with that book because I was like, oh my god, like I need to see how this ends. I need to see where this goes, that relationship develop. I loved meeting all the side characters that we are going to see throughout the rest of the series, and honestly, it's like 10 out of 10, pure joy. The next question is favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year. Hands down, A Man Called Otto. I watched that recently. I bawled my eyes out. I could not stop crying at that movie. Frederick Bachman is the author of the book that was turned into film. has a way to make me feel like 100 different emotions all at once, and I am never capable of feeling so many emotions all at once, but it just kind of hits you like a truck and you're both happy and sad and all of it just all at the same time, and then you just start crying and you can't stop, but you also can't look away. And that movie was just beautiful. I love the actors. I love what they did with the movie. It just hit. It hit different than a lot of other movie adaptations. 10 out of 10 would recommend if you're looking for something sad to cry about. The next question is most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year. And honestly, there's a lot of beautiful books that I own because I started getting into special edition collecting. But hands down, for me, it has to be The Wrong Mr. Right. This is the Eternal Embers edition. I mean, this is me in a book. The color palette, the art style, the beach, the little, like, there's even them in the little window. Like, come on. This is a bookstore, a surf shop. Like, the whole aesthetic of this is honestly stunning. And even, like, the chapter headers, if I can find one, like, this is books, and then his point of view is like surf related, like the attention to detail, honestly, chef's kiss, 10 out of 10, Eternal Embers, just never disappoints. And the last question to this tag is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And my honest, genuine reaction to this is my entire TBR. Like, I cannot physically just list off a few books and I'm like, oh, I should probably read this before the end of the year. No. Everything on my shelves are things I want to read, and I would love to read all of them before the end of the year. That's never gonna happen. But just like the fact of the matter is, my entire TBR is what I'm aiming to read, and there's nothing specific that I'm like, oh, this can get read and this can wait, because in reality, I just want to read it all. So my answer is everything. Okay. That was it. I think this might be the quickest round of this tag I've ever done. I just feel like it's a good, like, check-in point, but sometimes I over-elaborate. Anyways, proud of myself. I hope this gave you guys a little bit of an idea where my reading year has gone. I obviously want to do mid-year stats and a mid-year reset once July hits, but for now it's a good way to reflect on what needs to happen, what goals we're going to set ourselves for the rest of the year, and you guys can see all of that, all of the aftermath of the reflection on this tag in upcoming videos. So subscribe if you don't want to miss it. Let me know down below your answers to this and what books I should prioritize on my reading, like on my TBR, so I can answer a question, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye guys, happy reading.